What's going on, guys? This is Richie here from the Red Planet Films, bringing you yet another review. Sorry, it's, kind of on, I guess, a spur of the moment type thing. It's on my computer. I would set up my camera and all that good stuff, but one, I don't know if it's charged, and two, it might take a little bit longer. But, anyways, I just kind of wanted to give you guys my thoughts right off the bat. So, if you haven't already found out by the title, I'm bringing you my movie review for the recently released film Don't Breathe, directed by Fede Alvarez. And if you're not familiar with him, he directed the 2013 remake, or I don't really know if you want to call it a reboot, but we'll just say remake of The Evil Dead. And I was a fan of The Evil Dead. I really liked Fede Alvarez's style, his directing style. I really enjoyed the film. Being a huge Evil Dead fan, I just really liked it even more. I know there were a couple of issues that some people had with it, but overall, I kind of just took it in. It was a lot of fun. I really liked it, and I found that there was a lot of potential with Fede Alvarez as director in the future. So I was really waiting to see what his successor, if you will, would be, his follow-up film after Evil Dead. And when I first saw the trailer for Don't Breathe, I was like, oh my gosh, like this concept looks really cool. Especially there's that one scene where I forget the character's name. Oh, the character in the movie, her name is Rocky. I'll get to that in a second. Played by Jane Levy. And I forget the actor name, but he plays the character of Alex when they're in this really dark sort of basement or whatever, and they can't see anything. But we can see them, but it's like this weird sort of like when your eyes start getting accustomed to the dark or whatever type look. And that was a really brilliant shot in that trailer, and I was like, oh my gosh, I cannot wait to see what that full version of that scene is. So there were a lot of cool moments in the trailer. The trailer doesn't give anything away. It just literally tells you the entire plot of the film. So it doesn't give away anything. I mean, granted, I only saw one trailer. I didn't see I think there was a Red Band trailer. I didn't watch that. I didn't watch any TV spots, anything of the sort, because I really just wanted to go into this film with just no impressions. I didn't watch anybody's reviews. I didn't read any reviews online. I just wanted to go into this thing not knowing anything. Just seeing that one trailer sold me. I was like, okay, first off, number one, Jane Levy sold me because I am in love with her. Number two, like I mentioned earlier on this review, I find Fede Alvarez to be a very good director, and I really wanted to see what his follow-up to Evil Dead was going to be. So just those two things alone, and, three, the concept that this whole movie was based on, it really intrigued me. So I was like, okay, I definitely have to go see this day one. Coming out of it, I freaking love this movie. Oh my god, I loved this movie. This movie blew my expectations out of the water. Just, oh my gosh, I'm not going to get into spoilers. I'm going to save the spoiler stuff towards the end of the review. But anyways, moving right along, just as the trailer tells us, the story is about these three burglars, and they get a little bit of info on this guy who's sitting on $300,000. So the three burglars, they decide to scope it out before they go and attempt the robbery. So as they go and scope out this guy's crib, they realize that he's blind. So then, the story unravels, and it gets revealed that this man was an Army veteran, and, he's kind of a loner. He really has no family, this, that, and the other. So they go, try and attempt the robbery. Things kind of go awry. One of the burglars ends up dying, as was made evident in the trailer, so I'm really not spoiling anything at the moment. And it's left to the character by the name of Rocky and the other guy, Alex, to kind of just like, oh my gosh, like, what do we do now? Kind of like escape and, get away with the goods and all that. So, watching the whole setup, move along at a really good pace. The pacing of this film was very well done, in my opinion. I thought it was really good. It's a short film. It's like an hour and a half. So, it moves along at a very steady pace. It gets you to know who the characters are, bit of their backstory, where they come from, this, that, and the other. And, it gets you to care about them. And there's a sense of realism in this movie because it's set in Detroit. Detroit's not the most happiest, friendliest place in the world. So they're doing what they're doing for a reason. You know what I mean? So granted, yeah, they're doing something bad, but we get to understand what their motives and why they're doing it, especially the character of Rocky, which you really get attached to because of her backstory. She kind of, it's like a trailer trash type situation, almost like 8 Mile, and she's taking care of what I'm assuming, well, it has to be, of course, her younger sibling, her younger sister, while her mom is addicted to all sorts of terrible stuff, and she has some deadbeat boyfriend who doesn't have a job. So she makes this promise to her little sister, hey, you know what? We're going to move to California. So the character of Rocky wants to get this $300,000 to move to California to provide a better life for her younger sister because she doesn't want her growing up in that environment. So that alone right there is like, okay, wow, this character wins me over. Character of Alex, however, was kind of, I don't want to say left a little bit in the dark, but just the character, I mean, the actor's portrayal of this character makes you like him. And, he's smart, he has brain, and, he has a little bit of rationale towards him. When he hears that this guy's blind, he's like, no, dude, like, I don't want to do this. But he really does it primarily for the character of Rocky because, well, he has a crush on her. And who wouldn't? But anyways, that aside. So he does it for her. So, he's kind of, I guess you want to call it friend zone, but whatever. And then the other guy who gets killed in the beginning of the botched robbery, his name is, well, he goes by the name of Money. Whoa, that's real hard. So anyways, he kind of makes somewhat of a threat to Alex, as they finally go to attempt this robbery. Oh, like, oh, why don't you stay in the friend zone, this, that, whatever. So he comes off as a real douche. He just comes off as a real douche in general as soon as you see him on screen. So anyways, moving right along, as soon as the botched robbery goes, awry, this is where the movie just starts picking up. And I mean, the movie really starts picking up anyways. As soon as they enter the house, you're like, okay, like, what's gonna happen? And I'm drawing a blank on his name. I can't believe it. But Stephen Lang is his name. And if you're not familiar with him, just a little tidbit of trivia info. He was actually campaigning himself to play Cable for Deadpool 2. And I would love for this guy to play Cable as Deadpool in Deadpool 2. Because he kind of looks the part. And I don't know, something with his grizzle type voice reminded me of Joel from The Last of Us. I wouldn't mind seeing this guy play Joel from The Last of Us if they made a Last of Us film. But anyways, that aside, so Stephen Lang kills it as a blind guy, and just because this guy is blind and he's an army veteran, so he has to rely on all of his other senses like smell and really just hearing. Just listening in on things. So he has like an acute sense of hearing, and obviously, like I made mention of smell, which comes into play. So overall, I really enjoyed this film. It was just very much like edge of your seat type suspense. It kept you in. It was, oh my gosh, it was just very innovative and very thrilling. It was such a refresher to get this type of film in what's kind of been, I don't want to say a lackluster or boring summer for film, because there have been some movies that I've enjoyed. Granted, I haven't seen every single other film, but it's been lackluster for the most part. This kind of, in my opinion, ends the summer on a high note. It's very fresh. I highly recommend it. This is a very good film. So if you haven't seen it, I highly suggest you go do so. I loved it. So now I'm gonna talk about some spoilers. So again, if you haven't seen the film, please X out of this video. So anyways, moving right along. There was a little bit of info that the character of Money gave on the blind man, played by Stephen Lang, when he was talking to Alex and Rocky, kind of pitching the idea after he got the info of the fact that this guy's sitting on $300,000. The reason why he's sitting on $300,000 is because there was some rich yuppie girl from some rich yuppie family who had killed his daughter, the blind man's daughter, in a hit-and-run type accident. So they pretty much paid the guy off, the blind man, to say, hey, you know what, like, here's this, just hush up, take this money, blah, 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 whatever. So this guy, he's sitting on this money, because he has no family, he's just a loner. So, they find that out. Alex is like, you know what, kind of not comfortable robbing a blind man, this, that, whatever, I'm out. But then, he has a change of heart just because of the character of Rocky. So anyways, when he said that, I immediately thought instantly, number one, because there's a scene in the trailer where Jane Levy turns around and then there's like some girl or whatever. It's very quick. So that image from the trailer popped up into my mind, and I said to myself, that's either going to come into effect, which it did later on in the film, and that's going to A, be Stephen Lang, the blind man's daughter that was supposedly killed, or B, it's going to be the girl being held captive against her will, the girl that, killed the blind man's daughter. A was wrong, but B was right. But when that revelation comes to, it's still pretty like crazy to see. It's like, oh my gosh, like this guy actually So she has this little piece of paper from a little like newspaper clipping, and she shows it to Rocky, Jane Levy's character. And on the little newspaper clipping, it says, girl innocent over vehicular manslaughter. So pretty much I guess their parents kind of, said, hey, just let this go. Here's some money, blah, 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 whatever. Although the blind man did get, the $300,000, the cops were kind of, I guess, bribed to just, because, the place that they're living in, Detroit. So obviously the cops are going to be like, oh, yeah, you know what, sure, yeah, we'll sweep this under the rug, which is pretty messed up. But it's also messed up that this guy is holding this girl captive. So they try and, let her out. At first, Alex is just like, no, dude, like, let's go. Like, we got the money. They were able to get the money after after Money got shot by the blind man, because Jane Levy's character was in a closet right across, and the blind man went over and checked this little safe that was in the closet, and that's where he had his money. So she was able to see the password for the safe. So she was like, okay. So then once he, went away, and then Alex came back into the house, because he had left afterwards, like when they got in, he was like, no, dude, like, I'm out. So when he came back in, he was like, oh, like, let's get out of here. She was able to see the passcode. She put it in. She took the money. So, then fast forward to when they found the girl being held captive. So he was like, no, like, the dude, like, let's go. But she was like, no, we got to save her. So then they decide to save her because Alex managed to find some keys. So they save her. They're going out to this other back door. And then as soon as they open it up, there is a bug on me. That's quite gross. Interesting. That's not interesting, but you know what? Before he spawns more children, I will kill him. Anyways, so as soon as they get to like this back door, they open it up, and Stephen Lang's character, the blind man, is standing right up there, and then he shoots this gun that he got from Money, and it whizzes by, clips Alex's ear. He falls, and then he's still shooting or whatever, and then it's shown that he shot the girl that he held captive, like right across the face, so she bleeds out, and then he's screaming in rage. So then that's when that whole scene comes about where, everything just goes pitch black, and then they're trying to go, scurry around and try and find where they're at. That was a very intense, very well done scene. I don't want to, delve too much into spoilers because it's just great. Very well done scene. So then that goes along, and then they're trying to escape or whatever. Rocky manages to scurry free. Alex, not so much. And then there's a dog that comes into play, but the dog kind of provides some really excellent sequences. So again, I'm not going to go too much into it. But anyways, it was just like, oh my gosh, it was such a roller coaster of like emotions and just tension, and it was so great. Such a refresher, honestly. So, fast forward, the blind man attacks Alex. He's down. So literally the only one that's left is Rocky. He manages to get her as well, and then he captures her. So he brings her down to where he had the girl that killed his daughter from the drunk driving incident. So then she's talking to him. She's like, you know what, like, doing this isn't going to bring your daughter back. And then he was like, well, not necessarily. So then he goes in and he was like, if you guys wouldn't have broken into my house, this girl wouldn't have died. And if she wouldn't have died, then I would have got my daughter back. I'm paraphrasing. So she's kind of like, what? What are you talking about? And then it's revealed that this girl was pregnant. and you're like, oh my god, what? He was like, he says something along the lines of, I think he said that she was about 2 months pregnant or something like that. So he was gonna provide for her. She was gonna provide for him rather, blah, a kid. But she died in the crossfire of what happened when they were trying to escape with her. So he was like, you know what? Now you have to pay for, what you've done. He was like, I'm not a rapist. I've never forced myself onto a woman, but, now you have to, you have to provide for me now what I lost. So Gene Levy's character Rocky's just like, no, no, what are you doing? So then he goes over to this area and he has like frozen sperm, which is the most disgusting thing on earth. And he has like a little like turkey baster type thing. He was gonna pump it inside of her. And we were led to believe earlier on, before this whole segment was going on, this whole scene, that Alex died. Turns out that he actually the blind man stabbed the already dead body of Money that he had dragged into a different room where Alex and the blind man had a fight. Which was also a very well done scene as well. So he comes down right as he was about to just insert this girl with this, knocks him over the head, they're fighting or whatever, they kind of handcuff him or whatever. So they go upstairs, they're about to make their escape. Alex gets shot. Rocky turns around, and it's the blind man there. So she just dips. She's running down the street. Then the dog comes and chases her. She manages to get to their car where they had parked it before they decided to go through with the robbery earlier on in the film. And she manages to trap the dog inside the car. As she gets out of the car, the blind man comes, because I guess he heard the barking, and just knocks her upside the head. Takes her back to the house. He locks the door or whatever, but then she was able to find this little sort of alarm type thing that, kind of bypasses like all these different like house alarms that they used in their other robberies and stuff, and they were going to use, or they did use rather, when they were trying to rob the blind man, so they can disarm his security system. So she turns it on, so it's making this wacky type alarm system. So the blind man's just like, oh, like I can't hear, so that just throws the rest of his senses off. So he's just running around, like not running around, pointing around, just shooting wherever. While Gene Levy, Rocky rather, is coming with his crowbar and just smacking him everywhere. He runs out of ammo. He manages to get the alarm system off, but she fights him off. Blah, 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 whatever. And then she's able to escape with the money as the cops are coming. So she runs off, and then it cuts to a scene at a train station or an airport where she's with her little sister, and then they see on the TV, that there was a robbery of this blind guy, blah, 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 and that there were 2 suspects. The 2 suspects were found dead inside the house. The blind man tried to, defend himself. And it turns out that the blind man is still alive, that he's going to make a recovery, he's in stable condition, this, that, whatever, and then he said that there were no valuables stolen. So Rocky's just like, oh my gosh, and then they just make a way, her and her little sister, so I guess California. But this was just such an intense thrill ride. It was incredible. I enjoyed every second of it. I would love to absolutely see it again. I highly recommend this movie. I don't want to, delve too much into spoiler territory, even though I kind of just gave you the rest of the synopsis of the film if you haven't seen it. Shame on you for watching the rest of this, by the way. But yeah, my gosh, I love this movie. Probably one of my favorite movies now, and definitely one of my favorite movies of the year. I'm going to have to give this movie an A. So that's pretty much it, folks. If you enjoyed my review, please leave a like, favorite this video, share with your friends online, like Facebook, Twitter, whatever website you guys use. Leave your comments down below. Tell me what you guys thought of the movie, where you would sort of rank it amongst your favorite movies of the year, what grade you would give it, what were your favorite parts. But if you're going to talk about spoilers, please leave like a little like spoiler alert thing before your comment, just in case people haven't seen the movie or whatever and they want to scroll through the comments, you know, they're kind of at least alerted by like that first little bit of text. And check the description box down below. You'll see the link to our gaming channel. If you're not aware, we do have a gaming channel where we do all sorts of different crazy walkthroughs and, you know, some live streams and all that good stuff. So if you're into that, make sure you hit that subscribe button as well. And in the description box down below, you will find our Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. So if you want to follow us on social media, give us a shout. Please feel free to do so. We may even give you a shout back. And most importantly, hit the subscribe button on this channel so you can be notified whenever we upload a new review. We also have a Green Arrow fan film on the way. It's, you know, still being filmed and all that good stuff. Hopefully it'll be out soon. So if you guys are into fan films and all that, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Check out the teaser trailer. I'll leave a little link in the description box as well. That's pretty much it, folks. I cannot hold this film in any more higher regard. I enjoyed every second of it. I definitely want to see it again. I would love to hear you guys' thoughts. You know, let's have a cool little debate down in the comment section and all that good stuff. So like I said, like, favorite, share, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Check the description box. And I will see you all in the next video. Thanks for watching.